flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Cambuslang showroom now open to the public.
Come on then, you absolute duds. When it comes to predicting results, I really don't fancy your chances, but I'll give you a fresh opportunity every week. Take it away.
Hibs 0, Rangers 3.
Wow, confident stuff. 3 Lee Johnson own goals, if anything. Start the show's anything to go by.
No, I think it'll be a tough afternoon for Hibs. I'll go for Rangers 2-0.
I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers.
So you're at least giving Hibs a goal. Very generous.
I'm trying to keep myself in the thing. Every time we make a prediction, it's nils. After about 5 minutes we're out it, so I'm still in it right up to the 90th minute.
Good on you. Right, we're underway. Really looking forward to this. I mean, I know you might think 6 hours is a slog in this studio with these three, but it is a pleasure and a joy because we get to share it with you. A massive game in the capital to kick us off. 4 big games in the Premiership thereafter. Brilliant fixtures down the divisions, and of course we get to preview tomorrow's action and speak to you on the phones as well. If you want to get in touch before then, just tweet us, let us know as the game's going on, get all your thoughts in, and we'll go through it together. Should be good fun, as you would expect. Rangers with lots of the ball early on, and it's your man, it's your favourite in the middle, Gordon Dalziel. Willie.
Yeah. Well, I like Willie. I think he's a very experienced referee. He'll handle this occasion no problem. I hope we're not talking about the referee, we're talking about the game, the old cliche that we bring out every week. Guaranteed the phone lines will be about Willie tonight.
It will be.
Looks like he said Willie had a wee trim for this one.
I think he's taken all off. He was fighting a losing battle, wasn't he? And he's just thought, there's no point, let's shave it off.
Yeah. But doesn't take away from his ability. A loss of hair, Mark.
Hugh?
Yeah, I was that busy looking at his shug there.
Anyway, Rangers looking to try and probe early on, but Hibs just going to try and clear that one to safety, and they eventually do. Experienced goalkeeper now in David Marshall.
Yep, he made a few great stops last weekend, but unfortunate that he's got a defence in front of him that just allowed chance after chance and Livy get the win. One thing's for sure, I mean, Hibs today at Easter Road have to be much better than they were against Hearts. They were lucky to get anything at that game against Hearts. I mean, they only started playing with about 5 minutes to go, and Hearts should have been well out of sight by then. They can't allow this Rangers side to have the freedom Easter Road that they allowed Hearts at.
It's a day when Ryan Porteous at the back has to really be commanding in a proper way. He's got the hard man reputation. It ends up in red cards for him. He needs to show the qualities he has as a player.
Remember, there was a time you used to refer to Hibs as the Edinburgh Festival.
Yes,
we're relevant on the time, but I don't know if they've got that reputation about them anymore.
I mean, I do take on board what Lee Johnson said, that you can't expect peak performances when the team has been assembled. I think that they've signed 11 players and they've got 2 on loan. That's a massive change, but they're on the front foot at the moment.
I'll tell you what, it was excellent from Hibs down the left. It hit the corner flag and stayed in, and then Hibs actually make a mess of it in the end. But to get to that point, Mark, was that Ellie Ewan on the far side?
Yeah, he looks
lively. Flying machine.
Yeah. Where did they get him from, Mark? Sorry.
And and just from a Rangers point of view, did Goldson sort of get dragged out there? That's not one he'll want to have to go and
well, I was
with.
Highlighting the fact that Hanlon wouldn't like to get dragged out to the left hand side 1-on-1 with Matondo if the wing back pushes up. And Goldson, all centre backs don't like that position. When they get dragged out there, they feel a bit uncomfortable. There's not many that go out there and are in a comfortable area. They like to stay in that central area and work their defence from there.
Mark, in that front three, if it's Eli Ewan and Martin Boyle, there's a fair bit of pace up there for Hibs to try and exploit.
I just watched Hibs try to turn Rangers again. Actually, Sands does very well because Boyle is right in his shoulder, pressing him, and that's how Hibs are going to get success. Daz is right, centre halves hate playing against pace, and even without the ball, if you're getting pressed at a real tempo, it just becomes an uncomfortable afternoon. So Hibs have to play to those strengths to get anything out of this. It's a different challenge for Goldson and Sands this afternoon than the face probably before. Even against PSV, where a lot was in front of them, and Hibs nick it, and they're good counter attack here.
Jagged gets caught there.
It's poor from Hibs right at the edge of the box, but good up until that point. And actually Hibs are probably starting on the front foot, you'd have to say. Chris Cadden slips but regains his composure, and that pass has just got too much on it, and it goes through to John McLaughlin.
I think they've got a wee game plan that they're leaving Rangers at the back with Goldson, but see the minute it comes into the middle of the park, they're really going to go and try and press Rangers. They're dropping off, they're getting their shape, but the minute it comes in, I think they'll go and try and press them. I would like to see Matondo starting to get on the ball, and I was just watching out the picture there. Hanlon was 1-on-1 with him down that right hand side. I would be giving him the ball all day long with his pace.
I'm fascinated to see that, Mark. I don't think Josh Campbell is your stereotypical left wing back as such, more of a box to box central midfielder, so we'll see how his skill set copes with Rabbi Matondo.
It's a big ask for him.
James Tavernier's out there as well.
Exactly. But Lee Johnson must think he's got the attributes to match, and maybe his discipline is why he's put into that position, and they've probably got no one else. But he is a box to box midfielder, and he scores goals from that area. So it just goes to show you that he's obviously decided to take him at that area to do a job. But if you're a midfielder and you're up against Tavernier and the raw pace of Matondo, then it's a long afternoon, really. I don't think we're going to see much in a forward going aspect, but you can see him just now try to double up with Hanlon.
Yeah, Matondo does well.
Actually,
thought he had himself a corner, but Hibs do equally well, and it's a lovely nutmeg from Ewan Henderson down in the corner. John Lundstrom stops him in his tracks, but Hibs do clear. Been a good old start, Hugh, fairly lively.
Well, Lee Johnson said prior to the game that he would take the game to Rangers. He's trying his level best to do that. Rangers are responding in kind, and it's a lively opening.
Yeah, I think the Hibs manager Lee Johnson will be quite content the first 6-7 minutes. Rangers have had their fair possession of ball, so if Hibs, the game will settle down. It'll be interesting to see how it develops, Gordon. I think set plays will be important as well. It's a big pitch at Easter Road. It's a decent pitch to go and play with. I think you've got to use the width. So far we've not seen the danger man for Hibs, Boyle, getting involved yet, but as I say, it's early. I think both teams are just feeling each other out.
just on set plays, when you're mentioning it, it's amazing the amount of criticism Rangers were getting for the zonal marking the other night. But see, when you see the quality of the ball, when you've got zonal marking, you're fine until you get somebody that puts that one ball right in the money, right in between your defenders, and then you're struggling. Happened twice.
Yeah,
the other night.
On one hand, yes, because you've got to give credit where it's due, but on the other was a Rangers implementation of it. Because Connor Goldson's got a standing jump against someone who's running from the edge of the box. That's just never going to work. Is that where it needs to be implemented better?
Yeah, well, it's the guys in front of Connor Goldson who has to block that run to give him a chance. So that's where the problem probably lay. But people saying, oh well, you should be able to deal with that when you've got the quality. And I kept mentioning it the other night, when you go up a level, you've got boys that can put it in a six.
Really enjoyed having Marvin and Cammy on the following night. Cammy being a goalkeeper and Marvin paying a lot of attention at the moment to setting up a defence at Premiership level. And it's such a fascinating one because everyone wants to criticise, it feels, hold on, because there's Rangers into the box. Matondo cleared away.
Did well.
It feels like pundits and fans and everyone from the outside, Gordon, always kind of scoffs zonal marking, and then stop for a minute and realise that every top team does a variation of it. Every single top team seems to do a variation.
You highlighted it there. Every top team does it. So
but surely that's what you should be striving for, though.
I know, but see, when you go further down the levels, players often want to play the blame game. So that's why it goes to man.
Exactly. That was the point I made to Cammy, because I asked Cammy, he preferred it. He said he preferred man to man. I said why, out of curiosity, and that's what he said. He said accountability, whose man it is, which shows you that actually, as Scots, as grumpy Scots, what we're actually interested in is knowing who to blame rather than trying to figure out the best.
It's traditionally been a problem for Celtic and Rangers when they go from their domestic football where they dominate, and as Mark says, they don't come up against players who have the quality that you encounter in the Champions League, even at the qualifying stage. It's always been a problem. You're required to step up a level from Saturday to Wednesday, and sometimes you're found out.
I like the variation, what you said there, Gordon. I think there's a place for zones, for instance, front post. I think you've got to get men in there. And then I also think there's responsibility of the run and jump that Mark was talking about. Because you know, as a defender at any play, it doesn't matter what position you play in the pitch, if a high ball comes and you're standing flat footed and somebody's got a run on you, they're favourite.
Do you think you'd, both at your prime, who would have won an aerial duel between you two?
I was brilliant there.
Do you have a good spring?
Oh,
Hold on a minute.
terrific.
Did you see him in that cup final against Miller and McLeish?
Yeah,
he was,
jumped
he
him.
was jumping. His
5'10"
neck-
when he stands and
I just
5'4" when he
scored that
jumps.
and I was, poof, there you
Ah.
go. I would have beat him there all day long.
But you wouldn't. We've argued about this before.
Right, I'll throw this paper
Pace.
cup up between you two right now
Oh,
once
hold
the
on a
water's
minute.
finished out.
Yeah, hold on.
And we'll see who wins it, right? 50-50.
Pace, height, everything.
Ability,
I'd have
skill.
slaughtered- I'd have slaughtered him.
we were just in different levels.
I
You
know,
wouldn't have been on the
just-
same pitch.
You were
isn't
just,
me?
you were an average.
Unless it was like the Coca-Cola Cup
You were
or
an
something
average
like
fullback that couldn't even hold down your right position. They moved you from middle of the park to right back, found you weren't a right back, moved you to left back. You was just unfortunate Celtic had a weak squad at that time. Shadow, I don't know what happened to him.
A Korean international.
Champions League, Mark. Champions League.
There
When the draw's made this week, I know who I'll be asking for advice out of you
was
two.
some,
Exactly.
there's some duds in your
And
day.
you call me grumpy?
I know.
Which one?
The Dazzler.
Honestly, do you know what? It's funny when you mentioned Miller and McLeish there, the worst version I've seen of him, because you know what he's like. And I got reminded of it when I saw the game last night. Partick Thistle 4, Inverness
Yeah.
Cali Thistle 1. Brilliant, by the way. Ian McCall's side. But you'll see where this is going in a minute. Did you see the half-time substitution that Partick Thistle made by any chance? They brought Darren Brownlee on for Lee Hodson. Now in the summer, right, we had the he had the misfortune. We played in a sort of mini golf day, if you like, in the summer. And
Mini
Darren-
golf?
No, yeah, a small golf day, not mini. And Gordon was in the same 4-ball as Partick Thistle's Darren Brownlee, right? So he's had his 2 pints.
Ah, that's brilliant.
So you know
were
what he's like. It
It was
only
a
takes-
stag. It was a stag
It
afternoon
only
golf.
takes 2, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you think he's a pest normally,
Oh, I destroyed the boy.
wow, this poor guy.
Oh,
He was hold on a second. Brilliant from Ryan Kent. Good tackle, edge of the box.
Overdid it.
Did just a little bit overcook it. And it's not clear yet though. I think there's a head knock, so I'm assuming Willie Collum and his officials will take a look. Yes, they do. Anyway, back to the more important stuff. So he's had his 2 pints. He's as annoying as you can imagine. I mean, like peak
oh, I gave it to him.
annoying, right?
Oh,
And
big time.
he's saying, who do you play for? The guy said Partick Thistle. He's gone Partick Thistle.
I played with Partick.
See, when I played against Partick Thistle, it was Alan Hansen I used to come up against. That's what he was giving it the full way through. I could hear him, even though I was on the other fairway. I could hear him. Did you ever play with Man City? Son? No, that's fine. He's going Alan Hansen.
Poor
Alan
guy.
Hansen. He was got that. You'll probably not even get a new contract when yours run out. Honestly, he was so out of order.
Like, this was one of the most loveliest boys I've ever played golf with, and the banter was great, right?
From
Doesn't it
your
sound
end,
like
No, he
I did hear him saying you were a failed manager,
Aye,
etc. He
he
was trying to bite that.
he was trying to pick on me, and I thought, there's a pup. I just need to put him in his cage. Honestly, I just wiped the floor with
I
him.
just heard you. I could overhear you mentioning Alan Hansen about 15 times in the day.
Did you
Good
play
player.
against Hansen?
Aye,
Did
good
you?
player, Alan.
Get him
Yeah,
a-
good player.
Get
I mean,
him a
what age
glass
was
of water.
Hansen?
I was the one he was running beside me laughing. I couldn't even get a kick at the ball, and the veins were coming out my neck. And I thought I was fast at them those days, but
Was he a Rolls Royce? Was he?
unbelievable. And by the way, he didn't even look like he was. It was just the stride. It was incredible.
Is that right, Hugh?
Oh, magnificent player, Alan Hansen. I mean, you know, it was just. Remember his brother John played as well. For
Yes,
Partick
yeah,
Thistle,
yeah.
But Alan was an amazing talent from the word go.
14 minutes gone at Easter Road. It's pretty even stuff, you have to say. Hibs 0, Rangers 0. Both have had promising moments at getting forward, but then once it gets to the edge of that 18-yard box, it sort of breaks down. Kent did get into the box and then just slightly overrun it. Hibs again, maybe a couple of flashes in wider areas, but fairly even stuff, isn't it?
No clear-cut chances, Gordon. No goalkeeper's been asked to make really a save. I think Hibs will be quite happy the way they've started the game. They look a confident side just now, and the fact that everything's going okay. Rangers giving the ball away sometimes a little bit cheaply. I like Cadden. You look at Hibs and you talk about players and a bit soft in the middle. I do agree. I think they've got football players in the middle. I think you need a little bit mixture. For me, Cadden is a big player for him. I think he's come on leaps and bounds, the boy. I think he's brilliant going up and down the right hand side.
That was a nice idea from Ewan Henderson, but extremely ambitious and just couldn't quite find Martin Boyle.
I tell you what, Daz is just saying he likes Cadden there, and he does well. He gets the ball, he gives it to Boyle wide. He runs off the back. Was at Lundstrom, and Boyle didn't see him. He was in the box. If he picked the pass, he was in. I'd like to see Cadden get the ball at his feet and use his pace and try and go 1v1. The opposite side though, Campbell gets the ball right footed, slows it down, checks inside. He finds a nice pass eventually, but I think that's what Hibs are going to get in that side.
Yeah, slack from James Tavernier. He just zipped it straight into the feet of Paul Hanlon, who I assume wasn't his intended target, and you can see what Hibs are trying. It's early, over the top. Problem is, Gordon, when that doesn't work, it's a disastrous game plan, because you're just kicking the ball back to the opposition goalkeeper.
You're giving away possession. You're right, Gordon, and then you're inviting the attacks going forward. I would like to see, if I was in the Rangers situation, I'd like to see Matondo getting on the ball a little bit more. Now, I'm not having a go at him. I think that he's not getting the service as a winger out there. Ryan Kent's the same. On these touchlines, you're depending on getting the ball to you, giving the service to you, and so far he's not had that, because the one thing the boy's got is bags of pace, but at this moment in time he's not been able to use it.
Well, the one time he did get the ball and he faced Campbell up inside the box, he just breezed by him, got to the touchline, cut it back, no takers. But the best chance of the game so far was Kent. We kind of brushed over it a bit. Brilliant skill.
Why did he try for the third touch of the third man? It really did open up for him, didn't it?
Should have pulled the trigger, God.
Shot away.
He should have pulled the trigger. We're watching that and we've got a great angle of it. He's brilliant to come in on his right foot. You're thinking, right, you've got two options. You can curl it far post, he's got that in his locker, or he can just drill it and hope that you beat David Marshall. But he just took that extra touch.
Hugh, if you listen carefully, I think you could hear the shouts of "hit it" from here, from the away stand at Easter Road.
I don't know whether he's looking for the Hollywood finish, the goal that everyone will talk about for the rest of the weekend, whatever, but he simply took on one player too many, and the chance was there before he got to that player to get his shot off, and he didn't do it.
Just having a look at Rangers there, it was interesting. Matondo, you would automatically expect him to hug that touchline and get fed the ball, but he's actually tried to start up against Hanlon, the left centre half, and then make his movement through there. And centre halves don't like that, of course, but it makes things very narrow. If Rangers misplace the pass, Hibs just snap it up pretty easily and turn things over. So interesting tactic. Kent on the other hand is doing his usual.
First booking of the game, is it?
Yeah, I think it is. No, I think it might be. Is it Chris Cadden or Ewan Henderson? It's one of them on that side. Yep, Ewan Henderson. He's just left a little bit too much on Borna Barisic for Willie Collins' liking.
That's a sore one, isn't it? We've all had day ones. If Willie turns up in 6 months' time with a full head of hair, we know he's been to Turkey's holidays, but I've got to say that is a sore one. But he's up, he's okay. First yellow, and I think it was deserved, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say that. But Rangers, interesting again how they've set up. Kent one side, very wide. Matondo narrow. Cholak hardly had a touch of the ball. So the way Hibs are defending is probably bang on. Martin Boyle just dropping into the hole, trying to make it difficult for them. Rangers just probably need to move it quicker if they want to get any joy.
I talk about wingers, they need the service, but see, for me watching Matondo now, Mark,
he's not playing like a winger.
He's got to do a wee bit more to go on the ball. Look at there's Kent. Kent's hugged that touchline, but what a ball that is in. No takers, but he's hugged that touchline, giving himself bags of space. The defender doesn't know where to go tight or leave him, make sure that nothing comes through the middle. All of a sudden he gets on the ball. Matondo needs to do the same on the other side if he's going to influence this game.
Know who I think's went backwards for Hibs? I thought it was a brilliant player, Newell. I mean, when he came to Hibs, he looked outstanding, and I think he's just went backwards and backwards. And remember in the semi-final last year where he was having an absolute shocker and we could all see what was coming, and he gets sent off. And then even today he just almost played a blind pass there back to Marshall, and he's lucky his goalkeeper was alert to it, but he's just not panned out the player that promised so much.
There's another
That could
yellow,
be a
is
yellow
it?
for Connor Goldson. I didn't mean to touch him. He mouths to Willie Collum. Not necessarily that relevant in the eyes of the referee, is it? You can just see Boyle's just so quick. He's nipped away.
Like he's just gave Hibs the first yellow. There obviously looks at Golson there. He's not got to get away with that.
There's not a lot in the contact. I suppose what is worth bearing in mind, it's not always about the severity of the foul. It's
Stopping
about
an attack.
stopping the promising attack,
Yeah,
isn't it?
so it's good refereeing once again. You can't argue with it. I don't think Connor Golson really had a case there. Gives Hibs a little opportunity to put this in
Look
top.
how high this line is
Yeah.
for Rangers. It makes it hard to find a position. And he's played Newell again played a 41. You would really want something with a bit of whip.
Is the whole point of the delivery from that side mark, and if the line is higher, you're not hoping to try and really kind of bend one into that massive area between defence and goalkeeper.
Yeah, but that makes it difficult. What I would have done there is moved it, have somebody in front of me to touch it, stop it, and then the Rangers back line has to move off that, and then you get a better chance. But floating up, if you're a Rangers centre half at the back post,
I find that in modern day football, Mark, that there's not enough emphasis put on these things. As Barisic has got a great position here.
First chance for Rangers is probably in the half chance bracket down the left side. Stood up Cholak, it was a bit high for him, and he heads it over the bar.
Yes, it's a good ball, good width by Rangers. He just stands it up. Yeah, Cholak's a little bit unlucky, but I go back to the free kick. Now, Lee Johnston must know where Rangers will defend free kicks. You just don't put do you think that's a penalty kick? Yeah, is that what you're saying? Over
a VAR is in play. Do you not think that
Tavernier
would
on
have been looked
Bashiri.
at?
do you not think Hanlon's on top
doing
of
it's like a-
Tavernier?
Yeah,
Yeah,
by
I
a
did wonder.
domino effect there.
Could you know that way when they've played the replay twice? At first I thought it was to try and show there was a foul on Tavernier. Then I've realised it might well be to show that there was a foul on Bashiri.
Bashiri. Yeah, I mean there was a bit of a sandwich there, but they were all doing the same thing. So how would VAR work that one? Who's fouling who first?
Don't
I
even
don't know.
want to think about it, Hugh.
No.
We'll deal with that in November.
I know.
Listen, I've seen the worst decision VAR ever's made in their life the
there's
other
been
night.
a few.
Liverpool, when the lad with his hair gets pulled to the ground.
Yeah.
I could not believe
Been a
that.
talking point that one,
I
and then the
could not
referee
believe
is
that.
don't
But the
hang
referee's-
fire.
Don't stop.
What is it?
This is a Scottish football show. Why are you talking about English
I'm
football?
I'm talking about VAR.
BR,
But you
Liverpool,
mentioned
English
Liverpool.
Premier
And
League.
VAR's not in Scotland just now, so
Honestly,
I happen to
stick
mention.
to Scottish football.
Okay, I can only apologise
What
to
an
whoever it's
amazing call.
offended.
Have you got any O levels?
Yes.
Yeah, for anyone who's what are these three dafties on about, we did get a call last night who was very, very unhappy with us because the gentleman said we speak about English football too often, which was a surprise. We've been accused of a lot, and sometimes you go, yeah, fair enough. That's not one I expected, I must admit.
I was driving my car listening, and I had a chuckle, and I thought, please keep this guy on, just to see you three squirm, and I could feel the tension
I don't know
build.
if squirm was the right
No.
word.
Not squirm, but I think you said it in control, but it was funny.
Anyway, 23 minutes gone in the SPFL cinch Scottish Premiership of Scotland, north of the border,
In the capital of the country.
and it's Hibs 0, Rangers 0. Hibs look to launch a long throw. James Sands is going to come across. Does really well against Martin Boyle.
That'll go in the stats book, that one, for the caller the other night. Hugh, we had the caller the other night all the way from America who had an outstanding piece of stats. I mean,
About
everything
Sands.
on James Sands.
Yeah.
Interceptions, possession, everything. It was impressive. He made a good argument, but he still didn't convince me.
I've got to say, I'm not enjoying it. I think that it needs the pace to go up a little bit. There've not been any really clear-cut chances. I think the pace of the game is very slow for both sides, and both sides adapting the same sort of a tactic, the long ball over the top. I think Rangers look better when they get their wide players on it, i.e. Kent, for instance. Barisic's down the left hand side, that's where it looks dangerous. Boyle, this is a bit talking about the danger man, not really been seen up there. The high balls getting up from Hibs.
Yeah, I was going to say, there reaches a point where you get in the game and you think, okay, no shots on target for either side, 24 minutes, we're struggling a little bit. I was enjoying it early on. It was quite kind of it's quite open, Gordon. Oh, hold on a minute. Is that you and Henderson?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no,
yeah.
it's not. I was going to say
No,
Jake
it's not.
Doyle Hayes.
Yeah.
I thought if that is the tackle of a man who's on a booking, he has made the stupidest decision of all. But Doyle Hayes taking one for the team, as they say here.
Breaking down the attack. To be fair, I do understand what you're saying about the pace of the game, the lack of chances. Neither goalkeeper really pressed into action, but Hibs are giving a better account of themselves than I thought they would be able to. And Rangers are not getting it all their own way as they kick the ball out the park.
I'm finding it astonishing the way when Tavernier gets the ball, Campbell is the one that's going to him. Hanlon, the left centre back's now got a problem with Matondo. Instead of Matondo staying in the touchline and saying to Haaland, you need to come out here, you're a left centre back, you need to come out, so there's got to be space, or he's got to give me the ball and I'm going 1-1. Matondo's actually standing in beside him.
Hibs are going to make a change. It's either prompted by injury or Lee Johnson has seen something that he thinks needs attended to.
It's got to be injury, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you say, you've just said they're giving a better account than. And it's not as if those two players who've been booked, they're not on the tightrope yet, are they? It's not like they've committed any further misdemeanours. Anyway, it's Rangers. And that's a nice ball into the box, but Matondo's touch just not there, and then he gives away the free kick.
He needs to start showing he's not this season as Amad Diallo.
He needs the ball first, Hugh. Daz is right.
But he needs to be in positions to get the ball, Mark. There's no point going in and getting marked. Give the centre half something to think about. If he holds a touchline and Hanlon goes tight to him, it leaves space between the other centre back and the Hanlon in the left for Cholak to get moving. But he seems to be getting in and getting marked himself instead of asking the question.
It looks like Deutsch and Cabraja both.
Two subs.
Hugh, what do you make of that management?
Well,
what's
Lee
the
Johnson?
sniper doing?
I know, time will tell. I mean, it might be a tactical masterstroke, but it's odd.
Yeah, you don't usually see two substitutions and they're not even 30 minutes in the clock, so there's a problem somewhere.
27 minutes. Hibs make a double substitution.
So Henderson's one. He's on the booking. If the other one's Doyle Hayes, this will be.
No, Henderson's limping, isn't he? Or is he doing
Is
the
he?
old I'm pretending that I'm limping
By the
because
way, I
I've been
would be.
hooked?
No, I think he just disgusted.
I would have a crutch out there now, just walking off.
Is he struggling? He doesn't look
No, he
struggling.
doesn't look like he's struggling to me. Do you know, it might be a change of formation.
Yeah, but
Gordon.
why though? You're 0-0 with Rangers. They've created nothing so far.
Hanlon off as
And
well.
Paul Hanlon.
Paul Hanlon.
Well, he's ran off. Hanlon.
So who's Deutsch? Come on, who else?
Does Cadden look like he's going the other side?
Hanlon and Cabraja have come on. Henderson and Doige have. Cabraja and Doige on. Hanlon and Henderson off.
So is it a change? No, it's not. They've still got. I think it's a. Are they going to a back four?
Why?
Don't shout why you me. I don't know. I can only.
I'm all for.
He's gone to a back four because I'll tell you the reason. He's probably looked at Hanlon getting dragged out.
No, but hold on, Gordon. I get what there is
Right.
no way.
I'm giving you an explanation. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying that.
He's been. How often's he been dragged out? Once.
But you're not going to. You've got to let me finish. And plus the fact you've got three defenders just now marking Cholak, right? So he might have thought, I'm going to go to a back four.
After 27 minutes.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm giving you the explanation.
I'm
If you
testing
would
your
listen-
explanation.
If you would listen to me,
But you can't just make things up.
it's not. How am I making that up?
That's what we're trying to find out.
I'm not making it up because the proof is certainly Easter Road in the capital. Now,
Easter Road in the
so there's certainly a reason only Lee Johnston knows that he's decided I'm taking off Hanlon, I'm going to a back four.
Yep,
And I'm
4-2-3-1
trying
it
to
looks
expl-
like.
Yeah, and I'm explaining to you why.
Yeah, as I
It's,
said to
it's
you,
the explanation of why that just seems curious. I'd get you for like you've offered a potential. See if Paul Hanlon had been out on that touchline and Matondo had ripped him apart 5 or 6 times, then that would make more sense. It's never happened.
Because
Well, they've got three centre backs marking Cholak, and he must have decided, I'm going to go with 2 against 1, steady 3.
Because you rarely, if ever, see it done, it's not necessarily a mistake. I think he, as the manager, has disliked the shape of his team, even though he was the one who shaped them up that way. I think it's also a Lee Johnson thing. It's what he would do.
See if it comes off, you say, he'll get a pat in the back. Because, and as a manager, he's standing there thinking, right, do I wait till half time? Do I do it? Do I put myself under pressure? I'm 0-0 with Rangers, they've not caused us any problems. But fair play to him. He's decided, I don't like the way my shape is, I'm changing it. That's what managers get paid the money for.
Keen to know what, he doesn't like about it.
I think it's more in an attacking sense, probably. I think defensively they looked fine, but I think he's thinking we're not really getting up the pitch. I spoke about when it went to the left hand side, Campbell was turning in. He's now got real pace on the left hand side to
Ball
go at
hits
Tavernier.
Ryan Jack's hand in the box, but it was by his side. Would you agree with that?
100%, no penalty, move on.
Okay, let's move on quickly. I
think
you just
that-
wonder, Monday this week, last Sunday, would Lee Johnson not already have known that Cholak would be up against his 3 centre backs on his own?
Gordon, I totally agree. I'm not arguing the point. I'm telling you why he's done it. And that's the reason why. It's so simple. And Mark makes a great point. He's probably looked and think we're not offering enough at
Here
home.
is Rangers' new zonal marking. It goes all the way through to the back post, and then when headed back across by Hibs, Rangers clear it at the second time of asking.
You know what, that is the problem with zonal. See if it goes all the way to the back and somebody hangs out, it's really hard to get there.
Here's Martin Boyle running for the first time, strikes it, edge of the box, blocked, and now Rangers could look to counter. So half an hour on the clock. Hibs have made that double change, and it's a really poor pass. Is it Tom Lawrence?
Yeah.
A hospital pass, I think they call it. It allows Hibs to clear the ball away.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity there. Good opportunity for the Hibs in the back post. Exposing the zonal marking. And then Tom Lawrence, who I think's been excellent for Rangers, I think it looks a great signing. He's got to do better. That's just slack. Van Bronckhorst would not be happy with that at all.
I don't think Van Bronckhorst can be happy with much. 32
They're
minutes
0-0,
into
Hugh.
the game.
They're away from home. Everybody says Easter Road's difficult. There's still a lot of football to be played. Hibs haven't opened them up. They look a wee bit of dangerous at set plays sometimes when Rangers get caught, but it'll be interesting to see how this change of shape settles in for Hibs, whether it does give them more attacking options.
On the one hand, Gordon, you could say it's a brave thing for the manager to do, to do it after 27 minutes, a double substitution. On the other hand, if it goes wrong, they think, well, you picked the team, you shaped them up, and you
worked
found
on it all
yourself
week probably.
I think it proves that Lee Johnson, all the pre-season, the friendly games, doesn't know his strongest team or shape yet, because was it 4 changes he made for this afternoon? He's changed the shape 27 minutes in. He's not sure yet.
I just feel like we've seen teams get really dominated by Celtic and Rangers early on and feel like they have to. See, even if I think the surprising nature of it, Gordon, even if he isn't happy with what he's seen, usually the manager would then say, fine, but do you know what, we've made it to half an hour, Rangers haven't laid a glove on us, so fair enough, it's bold, it's brave.
Look, if you're asking me if I'm surprised, yes, I'm very surprised. I've never seen that coming at all. But obviously he's had a talk with his staff and decided, you know what, I feel that if we keep playing with this shape and the way we're playing, Rangers will up it a little bit, they'll cause us problems, so I'm going to change it just now. And look, it is a brave move from any manager after that amount of time, especially 2 substitutions and no injuries.
If you're the 2 guys taking off, are you going off the park thinking, this
What
guy
have I
know
done
what he's
I'm,
doing?
I'm doing Princess Street by 2:30.
Festivals on, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm
Fringe.
away. I'm watching a comedy show or something. Asking how did Hibs go today?
Yeah, not like it might well be the case, Mark, but if Lee Johnson's made a double change on 27 minutes because he thinks that Rangers might get dangerous, that just seems interesting. We'll leave it at that.
It is interesting, and he's an interesting character to have in Scottish football. He's a couple of press conferences so far have thrown up some headlines that we've mentioned. It shows he's not afraid to be proactive rather than reactive, but
Think
See, when you
after-
do something like that, it has to work.
It's got to work.
It's got to work.
Yes, I
Or the
agree.
old sniper target will be on his face tomorrow morning in the paper.
Just think after all this debate, you'll say at full time that both those players were injured and had to come off.
No,
No
he
chance,
can't, he
because the
can't,
players
he
will
will.
be out on Twitter or whatever saying we were fine. Hanlon made a point actually running off to kind of show I'm not injured. So
Like,
that's better work.
he's took Hanlon off to go to a back four. See if Hanlon was injured, he would have still shaped that to a three at the back. He could have brought somebody on. He's probably got people on the bench. He can still keep that as
Chance for Rangers. Ryan Kent from the edge of the box leans back far too much over the bar by some distance.
I still think he's been Rangers' best player this afternoon.
yeah, but he's getting into those positions. I just don't like the fact that the Hibs defender is backing off him all the time, because he's got the quality to curl that in. I think managers make tactical. I love that. I made the best tactical substitution ever. I kept 12 on against 11, and the referee didn't notice once. A game in Somerset. True as I'm standing here. Pre-season against Wigan. On you go. After 5 minutes, my staff says we've still got 12 in the pitch. I says we're doing okay. We're outnumbering them in the middle of the park.
See, to be honest, after the change, I think there has been more space for Rangers to play in. I think you see Tavernier now
100%.
getting down the right hand side. By the way,
And Kent over the top.
Kent there, I think he had more time and he could have picked a better option. And when you looked at the replay, when he actually took the shot, the spaces and the gaps between the Hibs back four were much larger than they were 10 minutes ago. So,
Well, if that is the case, and it results in Rangers being more dominant in the game, then he's made a serious mistake.
Here come Rangers, big chance, biggest chance of the game, and the pass is too heavy. I wondered if the shot was going to come in on the initial instance. It get fed out to Ryan Kent, but there was far too much on it. He's twisting and turning, he's in the box. Matondo's there.
Offside.
Offside.
It's offside.
Goes
He's
up
offside.
at the back post.
I've got to say, you can question Lawrence not taking the shot on, right? Because you can say, why does he not hit it? But when he decides not to hit it, he's got to tee Ryan Kent up. It's the easiest pass you'll get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just tee that up on his right foot and let him just curl it and ask questions of David Marshall. That's two in a row, Lawrence, who's got good quality, poor passes.
I think Boyle just does enough actually in the pass. You're right, he should get the pass spot on, but I think Boyle in his blind side just coming in put him off a wee bit, and that's why it was a bit heavy. But he should shoot anyway. But you could quite clearly see the gaps there again in the Hibs back line. It wide open, and Rangers just one pass too many, and they should have been ahead.
So you draw attention to yourself with the double substitution. You are inviting people to say this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's, as Gordon DL said, he's worked on that shape all week long, and after 27 minutes he alters everything.
But on the flip side, if it stays like this to half time and it stays like this at full time, then it's a positive result. And he does know what he's doing. He did it for the right reasons. Fascinating. It's turned a fairly boring first 45 minutes into something fascinating.
See, you were talking about the space in that, Mark. I think that's down to the fact that you're not telling me one Hibs player expected a double substitution either. So they've got to now react
Good point,
to
yeah.
the dip.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very good point. They've got to react to obviously a difference in the formation. Cadden, for instance, is now playing as a right back, not a wing back. Same in the left hand side. So
See,
they've got to change.
That's a good point. I didn't like that. See, during the game, and you're all of a sudden, if you get moved position within the same shape, it's okay. But if the full team shape changes, and you've got 11 guys trying to adjust, and it takes a couple of minutes, and you're if I'm a right back and I'm up against Kent, I know I'm up against Kent. If then all of a sudden it goes to your right wing back, or you're all
do
over
you
the place.
go or do you stay?
Ah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. That's why we've been in the game a long time.
We're at the game even longer.
How are you feeling this week, by the way? Because it's last Saturday was a bit of a ropey afternoon for you.
I'm still not 100%. I've got to say,
Neither's the pipes in the bathroom.
nothing to do with the pipes in the
We
bathroom.
brought
I
my
know what
bucket
happened
this
to the
week.
pipes in the bathroom.
I never knew
Starts
this.
with an A.
I never knew that this show was sponsored by Armitage Shanks, I must admit. But
Don't
last
even
week
start
you
that. Don't even
You
go
brought a
down that
plunger
road with me.
this week, William. Yeah,
Did you tell me I was going to do it 20 past 5?
I leave. Leave the show.
last week.
Aye, he said I was literally going to leave. Just
I've
walk
never
out
been so
and in
worried
the
about
car.
you. You missed your golf on Saturday.
2
You missed
days.
golf on
Yeah.
Sunday. That's when you know it's serious business.
Terrible. I made it today, so I'm happy. But no, I'm not fully recovered yet for all my fans out there concerned about me.
Fans. There is a bug going about, by the way. It's many. It's got
Okay,
it.
my granddaughter, she's my only fan.
I never thought
She doesn't know it yet.
the game must have gone off the rails if we're discussing matters scatological.
And they two don't even know what that means.
No.
So perfect. It has
You're
gone
right.
off the boil
Google
because Rangers just did a free kick, like, in the middle of the pitch, tried to just play a diagonal out, and it was so high and poor that just
Yeah.
didn't really come to anything. And then Hibs looked to go long. You can see the thought process trying to quickly turn Rangers and quickly getting behind. But we did say earlier, when that doesn't work, it just allows Rangers to pick up the ball and come straight back. Here's the dancing feet of Ryan Kent, though. He's got them on the shoes and the wrong feet, I think, on that occasion, because Hibs managed to clear the danger only as far as Barisic. So Rangers looking to try and finish the half strongly. We've not.
But to go back to Gordon's point about service to players, they clearly feel that if they get the ball to Kent, something might happen, and that they don't have the same urge to play in Matondo at the other end.
Good ball across the face. Was it Tom Lawrence? And Rocky Bashiri had to dive in and divert the ball
Good
over
defending.
the top.
Good defending. I know that ball could have ended up anywhere, but he's got to cut that out, because I think it's Matondo's made a good run across the defender. If he doesn't cut that out, he's got a great opportunity. That's good defending by Rocky.
That's good position to be in. I was just going to touch on the service as well. It stays like today that Cholak gets stick because he's hardly touched the ball, but you've got to say the service to him hasn't been there.
There were a couple early though that went up and didn't stick.
Yeah, well, and the one chance he had, it was just a wee bit too high for him as well. But
Portis and was it Golson involved in that collision there in the box?
Sounds entirely possible.
Yeah, the two of them ended up on the deck, but Woolley was not interested at all.
50-50.
There's Bashiri again, but he's headed it only as far as Lundstrom and just not quite falling for
What is
Rangers in the
Matondo
box,
doing?
but has not cleared it, and it
Oh,
flies past the post. James Tavernier with the effort.
yeah, great effort from Tavernier. It just dropped him edge of the box, and you know what? You fancy Tavernier anytime he gets within 18 yards. Because right, what was Matondo doing? Didn't react. It's a good effort, just past David Marshall's right hand post.
We're going to see this. I'm keen to see how close this is, because I think you've got it closer. That's miles wide.
that's
no,
close.
that's nearly hot out the window.
That's close.
Miles wide.
That's close for me. I'm only taking in my standards.
That's fair.
That's where I was aiming. Seen that Scottish Cup final? That's where I was aiming.
And then Stephen Craig and
I put
Craig and
Craig
diverted
into mind.
So you're now admitting it.
Exactly.
Wrong
You've
goal.
just admitted that it wasn't going on
That's
target
right.
after all these years.
Oh, brilliant.
No, you've got to take the players in front of you into consideration.
I'll play
in
1-2
big
off
games. Aye.
Yeah, we'll hear from Andrew McLean, the eyewitness account from Easter Road, very soon. Not sure it's got
I'd
a
like
great
to-
deal to report.
I think Andrew's got a real task on his hand, sort of a bumming this game up. First 45. The only talking points basically was the two substitutions for me.
Doyle Hayes, though, there just flying into a couple of tackles. Any barges? Is it
Nah, it was Doige in the
Alright,
end. Yeah, Doige came and helped him out, and
I thought it was Doyle Hayes, and you don't want to be giving Willie too many chances to get that red card out. He's not really shy at that, is
he's
he?
ruthless. He's a performer. That's
Yeah.
why he's here in the capital
Yeah.
at this time of the year, Hugh. He's a showman, an entertainer. But he's had a quiet afternoon so far, apart from those fairly straightforward bookings.
What a ball that is in for Tavernier there. One touch on the touchline, right in the middle of the 18-yard box. It's where you want Cholak to be. I was just saying about service. You don't get much better than that. And he wasn't there. He was nowhere near it, actually.
Yeah, I'm not having a go at Matondo, right? But see, when you watch him at home at Ibrox, he uses the full width of the pitch and causes problems. It's on the ball. I don't know if he's been told to take
I was
these
just going to say,
positions up.
looking at that phase there, has he been asked to
Take
come
him in
to,
and
to
leave
leave space for
Tavernier.
Tavernier,
Yeah.
which is understandable as well,
as
isn't it?
he picks the ball up here and puts it in the top corner, probably.
Nah, he tries initially, Matondo, but Hibs have enough of it. Cholak goes
Rocky
down in the box,
Rocky Bashiri.
and it's been
It's a
given.
penalty?
I
Yeah.
told you, Willie Collin wouldn't stay quiet for long.
No,
It's a
Oh, it
penalty.
is.
Rocky
It's a-
Bashiri. It is an incredible turn of events, because the ball's not going anywhere near Cholak, really. If you just watch it to get a look at it, the ball's going back. Oh my goodness, the ball's getting passed back to David Marshall. Cholak's going to close him down. Bashiri, for some reason, does decide to put his hands round Cholak's waist, who does go down easily,
Uh-huh.
and the penalty's given.
Well, a couple of horrendous decisions. Portis' decision to pass the ball back blind to Marshall,
It's getting to Marshall safely though, isn't it?
but he doesn't know that, and Bashiri obviously is yards away and doesn't think that it is.
Wow.
And
you having that, Gordon?
The penalty kick. If it was given against me, I'd be a bit upset.
It's very soft.
It's very soft, but I think there's been contact, and that's that.
I'm loving it if I'm getting it. I'm very upset if it's going against me. Let me see.
If it doesn't get given, we're probably not
Bothering with that.
that up in arms about it.
No, but
at the same time, once it's given, you can see the
Look,
justification.
the
Anyway,
defender
here comes
shouldn't do
James
it.
Tavernier, usually so reliable from the spot. David Marshall, the man who's going to try and stop him. Up steps Tavernier.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Hibs 0, Rangers 1, and it's James Tavernier again from the penalty spot. So reliable, so often. David Marshall went the right way, but he couldn't get a hand on it, and just on the stroke of half time, this game has changed completely because it's Hibs 0, Rangers 1.
Goal number 86 for James Tavernier in a Rangers shirt. It's an act of folly for me on the part of Rocky Bashiri. Willie Collum has a straightforward look at it, and it is a penalty. He's
Hugh, look, I do agree that the defender should never give him the opportunity to make the decision, but I think it's a soft
I think
decision.
what this is all going to come
Great
back to,
penalty
what
kick.
this is going to come back to, Mark, there is contact between Bashiri and Cholak. Does every contact mean a foul? Those are the two things that we need to consider, and I'll let everyone else argue it amongst themselves. I thought the half-time whistle had gone. Not quite. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
You
Yeah,
see
there's
what's
contact.
set plays, mate.
Of course. Yeah. No,
Corner
you're right.
kicks.
Much worse.
You're right.
Exactly. Yeah,
He's,
but
he's
does that
basically
make
touched him.
it wrong?
And
Look,
he's-
I said they shouldn't give the decision, as in the Hibs defender.
Okay, it is half-time. Andrew McLean.
Yeah, Hibs 0, Rangers 1 at the half-time score at Easter Road, and a late penalty means the away side take the lead into the break. But it was Hibs that looked the most lively side in the opening few minutes anyway. Eli Yuan using his pace well, but no real chances being created by the home side. A lot of direct play from both teams, but it didn't really come to much. The first proper effort came from a Borna Barisic cross, just a bit too high for Antonio Cholak at the back post, who headed over. Hibs hadn't really been troubled, so it was a bit of a surprise to everyone in the stadium when Lee Johnson felt changes were needed. 27 minutes in, Ewan Henderson off, Paul Hanlon off, on came Marian Cabraja and Christian Doidge. A change of formation too, going from 3-5-2 to 4-2-3-1. It didn't make a whole lot of difference though. Chances still few and far between. Ryan Kent had looked dangerous cutting in on his right, but hadn't really made the right decision when doing so. And then I'm sure you could hear the boos around me there. That was for Willie Collum, who was heading down the tunnel, and that was because he was at the centre of things right before the break, and it was a disaster for Hibs as well. Ryan Porteous with a back pass to David Marshall. It looked like it was getting to him safely. Rocky Bashiri putting his hands around the waist of Antonio Cholak, who did go down pretty easily, but Willie Collum pointed to the spot. Penalty given in the final few moments of the half, and James Tavernier stepped up and confidently slotted into the bottom corner to make it 1-0, and it means the half-time score here is Hibs 0, Rangers 1.
Interesting. Hugh Keevins, how would you sum up that half?
sum it up by saying that Rangers got away with one there. They were insipid for the most part. Cholak, who's at the centre of the controversy, had no opportunities to score. Kent had a couple of opportunities, but was over elaborate in one and wasteful in the other. It was going nowhere for Rangers until that moment. Now, Cholak has gone down theatrically, but what striker in his position does not go down theatrically? He's looking to give Willie Collum a decision to make, and Willie Collum loves that kind of decision. He was on the case right away, no doubt in his mind it was a penalty, and Rangers will feel, I think, flattered to be one up. Hibs will feel disgusted to be one down, and it's taken away the debate over the double substitution made by the Hibs manager Lee Johnson and focused everyone on, was that a penalty? By the letter of the law, I think it is.
Well, we had 44 minutes of basically nothing. We were chatting about the changes more than the actual action on the pitch, and then it burst into life with that decision. A ridiculous decision for Porteous to pass it back. Even worse one from Bashiri to put his arm out. But was there enough for Cholak to go down? I don't believe there was. I think Willie Collum was pretty quick to give it. Why not even consult with your linesman, who's looking right across the line, who would be able to see much clearer than Willie Collum if there was a tug of the shirt, or how close the ball was to Marshall? But he didn't. He gave it quickly, and Rangers
I
will
think
be
Willie
happy they're
Collum's
1-0.
got a good sight of it, Mar. I don't think that's a problem. I think he's just made the decision on the basis that he may think Cholak would get to the ball, and the defenders. This is a 0-0 half, decided by a decision made by a referee that 50% will agree with, 50% won't. It just depends what camp you're in. I thought it was one of the softest penalties I've seen, to be quite honest with you.
You can hear both sides straight away. You can hear those who say, what's all the fuss? There's contact. Bashiri's hold has got his hands round Cholak's waist, and you can hear those on the other side saying every contact doesn't have to be a foul. That doesn't mean that it's always a foul if you can see contact. And take your own pick.
Would Cholak have got to the ball? No, he would not. Did Bashiri attempt to impede his progress? Nevertheless, yes, he did. Penalty.
But Gordon's right. Every contact then, Hugh, doesn't mean it's a foul. So,
because as Gordon says, every single set piece that takes place this afternoon in Scotland will have someone with a level of holding. So if that's the case, do you just always give penalties?
In Willie Collum's case, yes.
No, but as in you would give like 15 in one game, if that, you know, if that's the level.
Exactly. And out with the box as well, Gordon. You know, if I touch an opponent, or if an opponent has got a yard on me and I put my hand out to touch him and he goes down, that doesn't mean that's a foul, and it wouldn't be given as a foul. I just thought he was so quick to see Cholak going down. He has all the time in the world to consult his linesman. That's why he's there. He's assistant ref, they're called now. But he didn't. He chose to point to the spot, and for me it's not a penalty. Did I make that most stupidest statement at 12 o'clock today? I hope we won't be talking about the referee tonight.
Andrew McLean, what was I mean, obviously the Hibs fans won't have liked it. That's always the case. But Lee Johnson, the technical area, did you notice anything? What were the players reacting like?
Yeah, a real bit of anger from the Hibs players. It's always a strange one, those, when you're in the stadium, because everyone has their eyes fixated on the ball. You see the ball go back to David Marshall, and then in the corner of your eye you see Antonio Cholak go down, and straight away he's turning round, he's got his arms outstretched, he's looking at Willie Collum, and quite often in those scenarios you look at the referee after that and the referee just kind of waves it away, but Willie Collum is pointed to the spot. But the Hibs players were straight at Willie Collum, surrounding him, making their case. Lee Johnson and the staff on the Hibs bench were not happy at all, and the reaction from the Hibs supporters said it all as well, when Willie Collum and his two assistants were the last three down the tunnel, boos around the whole stadium as they made their way down the tunnel. But yes, not a reaction that well, certainly not a decision that the Hibs fans are happy with, or anyone that connected with Hibs is happy with at all.
Well, take your pick. Some of you will think that's a stick-on penalty. Why is there even a discussion? Others will say it's a terrible injustice. We can argue about it as the afternoon goes on. In the meantime, let's see what halftime brings at Easter Road. We'll go back there and see if there are any changes and get the second half next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time at Easter Road, it's Hibs 0, Rangers 1. To be honest, a fairly uneventful 44 minutes. The biggest talking point was Lee Johnson, whose Hibs team were doing okay, hadn't really given much away to Rangers. He made a double change, a tactical switch on 27 minutes. Again, the game didn't really alter too much, and then right at the end of the half, Rocky Bashiri judged to have pulled back Antonio Cholak in the box. Referee Willie Collum pointed to the spot, and you know the rest, because James Tavernier very rarely misses. So that's what gives Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's men the lead at the break, and that puts a whole different complexion on things, Hugh.
Well, there are no secrets on social media, and social media reports that Aidan McGeady on television has said that he believes it was a penalty.
Current Hibs player Aidan McGeady.
Yes, and he, and I quote, was confused by what Rocky Bashiri was doing. So if Lee Johnson is very angry about that decision and decides to make his anger public, at time up, somebody inevitably will say to him, well, Aidan McGeady was on television and he says it was a penalty. So I think we can talk about soft all day long. The ball was not going to be arrived at by Antonio Cholak. It was going back to David Marshall in goal. But
that's, and to be just quickly on that, that's why there's absolutely no debate, despite some bizarre tweets I can see. That's why there's no debate about the colour of the card, because it's not a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity, because Cholak doesn't have the ball and he's actually not that close to the ball. It can still be a penalty, and that's why the yellow's been given. But let's not get ahead of ourselves with debates about the colour of the card, surely.
No. But did Rocky Bashiri attempt to impede Cholak's progress? And the answer to that is undeniably, in a reactive way, yes, he did. And that's why Willie Collum gave the penalty.
Yeah, don't make me do the thing about the boiled eggs or whatever,
Soft.
I don't think anyone's suggesting there's loads of contact, Gordon, so maybe that's not the point. As Hugh says, why can you strip it right back? Can you go right to the beginning? And it'll be interesting. That's why I'm keen to hear from Lee Johnson after. Does he save his anger for Willie Collum, or is he actually thinking at Rocky Bashiri, what is it you're doing there? Because in all honesty, Cholak's probably not. He's not getting to it, is he? And David Marshall's about to just boot the ball up the pitch.
Yeah, I think you've got to ask the question of your defender, Gordon. Why? Whether you think penalty or not a penalty kick, it doesn't matter. Willie Collins thought it's a penalty kick, right? He's the man that counts and gives a penalty kick. Now, you've got to ask why your defenders even giving him that option, because there's no danger. You're right, David Marshall's dealing with that, but for some reason the Hibs defender decides to have a tug at Cholak. Down he goes, and the referee decides that's a penalty.
If he does not lift his hands at all, there is no debate, because the ball simply goes back to David Marshall and off we go.
I think he's panicked, Hugh. I think by the weight of the pass report is, I think he's panicked, thinking Cholak can get onto this, right? And we know by looking at it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, whatever, he's not getting it. But in the split moment, you've got to make a decision.
And I suppose, Mark, because he's that side, the only way that he can impede him at all is that very obvious arms round the waist. If they're side by side, you can probably, you can kind of lean on him. You can put a bit of an arm out, and you'll never get a penalty against you for that. But because he's right behind Cholak and the arms, almost have to go out. I suppose Rocky Bashiri, because he's been involved at both ends, if he is deemed to have put too much contact on Cholak, was he the recipient of too much contact from James Tavernier? That's what he might be asking.
Without a doubt. I mean, James Tavernier gets away with one. Now, we made the argument that maybe
Hanlon is on top of him in the back, isn't he?
Tavernier, but Tavernier's arms are still around him. But going back to what the guys were saying about Bashiri, they're right. He is to blame in the fact that he has made it obvious without stretching his arms, and he gave that old one, the referee, a decision. But there's no way the referee can see that. There's a reason why the television pictures are showing that angle, and for me it wasn't a penalty.
Any other changes at the break, Andrew?
No changes at all. All 8 of Rangers outfield substitutes were out there warming up, so there was no chance they were going to make any changes. Hibs did only have 4 of their outfield players warming up there. I think it was Yar Tavares and Noan Kenna who hadn't taken to the pitch, but it will be the same 11 that finished the half. Of course, there was the 2 changes halfway through the half that Lee Johnson made, but Joe Newell gets us back underway at Easter Road.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Cambuslang showroom now open to the public.
Strong cases for both given and not given with regards to that penalty. That'll be good fun on the open line tonight and Monday, and maybe Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be over it by then, will we?
No, Thursday and Friday.
Anyway, it should be a good second half. Looking forward to it at Easter Road. It is Hibs 0, Rangers 1. It does change things, obviously, Gordon, but I'm not sure it will change exactly what Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's team talk would have been, because he'll be wanting more from his team, won't he?
I think he wants a little bit sharper, Gordon. I think he'll want his front 3 more involved. Kent was the one that looked to danger down the left hand side. I think Rangers haven't passed the ball quickly enough today for the liking of the manager, but I think half time, that boost of going in 1-0 makes such a difference. You don't need to go chasing the game. You can sit there, you can be patient. Hibs have to chase, they're a home team, have to chase it. That's where Rangers can then go and hit them on the attack with the pace that they've got and try and open them up. The next goal has got to be so important. Rangers get it. The 3 points are coming back down the M8, but Hibs will be desperately trying to get back in this game.
Bashiri's involved in everything. He felt he should have had a penalty. He then gave one away. Did he jump over the top of Cholak there? He's given the free kick away.
Right, he just clips him with his elbow. Accidental, but it's certainly a free kick. Cholak feeling that, but he just needs to settle down. Maybe he's just still feeling aggrieved at the decision before half time. But what it's allowed is Rangers an early opportunity for Lawrence to put this right on top of the back line.
It's not been a boring story. Rocky
No.
Bashiri, since he came, had some ropey moments last season. Hibs, did they sign him accidentally? It sort of triggered some sort of clause. He then played when he was suspended and shouldn't have played in the League Cup, and that got Hibs kicked out the competition. And now he's given this penalty away, rightly or wrongly. He's never far away, is Rocky Bashiri, Hugh.
He's an erratic player. You know, he can have his moments, but for me, he's sometimes a danger to his own side, and he has been today, because like Aidan McGeady, I'm confused by why he felt the need to impede Cholak when the ball was going back to the goalkeeper.
You won't get me trying to suggest that you pundits shouldn't speak your mind. That's what you're here for. I am all for it. The more the merrier. It's an interesting dynamic though, Mark, that current Hibs player Aidan McGeady does television duty and sort of instantly agrees that it was a penalty, and he doesn't know what Rocky Bashiri was up to. I just wonder internally how they... Is that just a man speaking his mind, or can that be problematic?
Well, Aidan's one to speak his mind, there's no doubt about that. I did think it was odd when I seen the lineup who was on Sky TV, that current players on there. Of course, he wouldn't be the first at.
Good insight though, having
It's a
current
great
players,
insight.
that's the point.
It's a great insight, but it always throws up the debate when something like this happens. That, you know, you made a great point. If the manager comes out after it and says one thing, and you know you've got a player on there saying it was a penalty, it's quite unusual.
I think we know the drill, Gordon. Aidan McGeady would need to tell the club that he had been asked to do the game on television.
I'd like to think so, because
Yeah,
he's
no,
sitting
they
in the
would-
corner.
Aye,
Yeah,
they would give
and-
him permission.
And they've given him permission, but Lee Johnson's not a silly man. He must understand, he's done enough media work himself to understand that there may be a situation which arises where you're going to have to be candid, and you can hardly blame Aidan McGeady if that's what he
Just
believes.
speaking his mind and being honest. Yeah, exactly. Understand that.
Listen, we're talking about Aidan McGeady saying on there, right, it's a penalty kick, but you might find Lee Johnson coming
Agrees,
out
yeah.
at full time and say, yeah, I don't know what my defender was doing, but Wally Collum called it right. So I don't see any problem. I think that's nonsense. We're bothering about what Aidan McGeady's saying on TV, that it's going to upset Hibs.
Rangers almost got themselves in a bit of bother. McLaughlin had clipped it out. It was a nice clip from him, but Tavernier tried to volley it back to Connor Goldson. Hibs nipped in, but it didn't come to anything in the end, and long it goes. Really particularly looking forward to Lee Johnson, because we need to get his thoughts on the penalty. We need his thoughts on that double tactical change he made after 27 minutes, despite Hibs not really being overrun or battered by Rangers. It was a very even game at that point.
The one guarantee you have is that Lee Johnson will give you a fulsome explanation of the substitution and a fulsome observation on the penalty kick award. There'll be no chance of Lee Johnson saying no comment. The words are simply not in his vocabulary.
I think he's got it in for Lee Johnson, doesn't
He
he?
does,
No, I am commending the man here. The one thing you will get is an answer. You will not get no comment. He will give you what he believes to be the truth.
It's nice from Hibs. Joe Newell with some good footwork, and they're into the box here down the left hand side, and it's in the back of the net at Easter Road.
Boyle.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Devastating attack from Hibs down that left hand side. It was Yuan. We said he was a flying machine. He got to the byline, he fired it across, and Martin Boyle doing what Martin Boyle does in the green and white of Hibs. It's Hibs 1, Rangers 1, 50 minutes gone.
He's the talisman. And I was offside as well.
Is there a hint of an offside?
Yeah,
or
there is a hint.
James Sands, is it, or Barisic playing him on?
But
I
it's
think so.
lethal
One of the guys in the
finishing from Boyle. What I will say, if Rangers play like this in Eindhoven on Wednesday, there'll be no Champions League for them.
I was actually going to criticise Boyle's run before he turned into net. I thought he left himself too much to do. Shows what I know about strikers, but he does incredibly well to get in front of the two defenders and slot it in. Must admit, couldn't see
Game
it
on,
coming.
Gordon DL.
There's why Lee Johnson will tell you he changed his tactics. Because he put the lad with the pace out to the left hand side, Johan, against Tavernier. Right? He does him. Tavernier's defending's poor, let's be honest. But great run from Boyle. As a striker, that's a great run. Because you've got two defenders in there and he takes it to them out the game and he puts it by the goalkeeper. That is a very good goal
There's
from him.
Rocky Bashiri involved in everything. He's been kicked in the head, according to Willie Collum. Cholak just dangled the high boot, appeared to catch Bashiri, albeit we've not seen it again.
Well, I mean,
what do you do about them, Hugh? Because Mark, you've played it. The foot's not overly high.
That's not a
Bashiri
booting.
puts his head in the way. Yes, it's unfortunate and it's a foul. I guess they're trying to move away, aren't they, from this notion of intent? They try and take that out of the vocabulary.
I mean, he's trying to play the ball, Cholak. His foot is knee high, maybe. It is not a booting.
Willie has entered the Willie Collum phase now. He's beginning to give things that are mystifying. But you said it earlier, Gordon, game on. This has got an altogether different feel to it, this game, from the moment that Boyle put the ball in the net.
I liked your insight, Gordon. That's why you're here. It's great analysis as a goal getter yourself. The run from Martin Boyle is, it's trademark number 9 from a guy who actually isn't one or wasn't one. He's done that modern thing that many of the top wingers do. Started off as a winger and now just turned himself into a real clinical attacking player, whether it is outside the box or inside.
What's so good about the run, Gordon, is remember he's got two defenders in there and a goalkeeper, right? So he's got to time that perfectly. Tavernier gets done in full, but it's a great ball in, but he's in the right position. He's not too far by the post. He's right level. He takes the two defenders who are looking at the ball, and as Johan going to cross it, Boyle then makes his run and kills the two defenders. Sands and Barisic, is it?
Yep.
Right? Brilliant finishing. Brilliant
I'll
run.
tell you what, Johan had a great opportunity. He was driving across, getting away from Rangers players. He could have taken it on himself, Mark, but he tried to slip a reverse pass, I think, to Martin Boyle.
I've no idea why
Rangers blocked it.
Why he took that option. I mean, it opened up for him to keep going diagonally right into the box, and he tries to reverse pass it. He's certainly come onto a game this second half because he was starved of service in the first half when he got moved wide.
Rangers look all over the place. As I say, if they play like this in Eindhoven, there'll be no Champions League draw on Thursday for them.
Is that game not in Amsterdam?
Yeah, they moved it.
Eindhoven play in Eindhoven.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Gordon, anything to add?
No, we're heading over to Amsterdam. We're basing ourselves in Amsterdam.
I'll bet you are.
Yeah, that was, and then we're moving whatever miles it is down to Eindhoven, a place I've never heard of.
There's going to be a yellow card in the
game.
middle of the park. It's nice footwork from Tom Lawrence, and Ryan Porteous dives in, gets a booking.
For Ryan Porteous, it's an awful long time to go without getting yourself into trouble, because trouble seems to fall him. Lawrence does brilliantly. By the way, Lawrence is in a bit of bother here. He's still in the deck.
To be fair to Ryan Porteous, I thought he had a good game, and he is also involved in the penalty controversy because it's his ball back to David Marshall. No blame attached to Ryan Porteous for that. The ball was at the goalkeeper's feet, and
I still disagree with that to a certain extent. And there's no doubt the ball was going back to the goalkeeper. But if you're Ryan Porteous facing one way after defending a set piece and you play a blind pass back to your goalkeeper, then you must take a small portion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, but is that with the benefit of what's unfolded? Because if Bashiri doesn't hold Cholak or whatever, you can argue about that.
But
Marshall just puts it to Rosed, and you've forgotten about Porteous.
No, everything stems back.
Yeah.
Why does Bashiri react?
but the blind
because
pass,
of the pass.
But the blind pass was reaching its destination with no problem. It's Bashiri that complicates matters.
But Bashiri reacts because of the pass.
I can understand Mark's side of the argument. I'm not agreeing with it, but I can understand it. But I'm looking at Rangers now, 55-6 coming on, another 5 minutes. I'd be very surprised if there's not other players getting brought into this. But Matondo for me, and look, the boys, The boy's a great talent and I like him and I think he will be a good, but he's offered absolute nothing this afternoon. That may change, but he's offered nothing.
Morelos on to play against Portis. Portis won't last the 90.
That's great closing down from Hibs, and you can see what Connor Goldson thinks of it. It does just go out for a goal kick, but sometimes, Mark, that he lifts the place. The crowd love that. Ewan has sprinted at Connor Goldson, closed the ball down, and yes, like I said, just a goal kick, but everyone will love that from
small
the
gains,
home stands.
Just life into Hibs, because it must have knocked the stuffing out of them. Half time, penalty kick, maybe injustice against them. Rangers started brightly, but when you get that goal and then all of a sudden it gives you that wee extra spring in your step, you're running that extra yard. In fact, one of the Hibs players is playing with 2 balls actually there, and while the play's going on,
alright.
You can't do that. Can't do that in the telly till after the watershed. But why was the play not stopped here?
Yeah, it's getting a bit feisty now. Martin Boyle penalised in the middle of the pitch. John Lundstrom down. Nothing major.
We're now entering, will they call him, red card territory.
You think they're going to be red, Hugh?
Yeah,
is that what you're going with?
Twitching to get it out.
I would say there's got to be a substitution very shortly. I think the Rangers need to mix up a little bit. I think Hibs are starting to grow a little bit of confidence here. They've got back into this game. I think Rangers need some fresh faces to lift this game on the pitch.
Ryan Kent slips one down the line. It's well played from Rangers. Flashed across and it's in the back of the net.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
That is a clinical move from Rangers. Kent slipped it to Barisic. Wicked delivery. Bullet header from Tom Lawrence. And with 58 on the clock, it's Hibs 1, Rangers 2.
It's all about the delivery, Gordon. That goal is made by the delivery. He gets into a great position. This is Barisic. This is what he's good at. Left peg, puts it right in a plate. Lawrence times his run brilliant. You ain't stopping that. No goalkeeper stopping that, because that cross with the pace on it is just begging to get put in the back of the net, and Lawrence obliged.
Yeah, he couldn't miss Hugh, and that is thanks to Borna Barisic.
Yeah, it's the first cohesive moment of play in the whole game from Rangers. It's a terrific ball in from Barisic. Lawrence attacks the ball. Hibs have no answer to him, and it's taken us 58 minutes for Rangers to look like a team with a threat.
From a Hibs perspective, Mark, does Joe Newell need to do more to track Tom Lawrence into that area?
Said that about Newell. Said there was a softness about it. I said he's went backwards since he came to Hibs. There was a laziness there to track Lawrence, and there was a determination from Lawrence to get ahead of his man. And look, I've been there before. When that ball goes to Barisic and your man's got a yard on you, I guarantee you Newell's thinking, oh no, please don't put that on my man. And he did. And what a finish, what a goal it was from a Rangers point of view.
You talk about Newell in the middle, and I totally agree with you, because you've got to go with your men. Hibs get done 2v1 in the left hand, in the wide area. They get exposed in the wide area. But I'll get back.
It would have been good if they had played 3-5-2 and had wing backs to deal with that.
Exactly. He's made a mess of that. The manager's coming in for stick. But I've got to say, as a midfield player or a striker, see when the ball goes wide, you ask for one thing: a little bit of quality in the box. Barisic obliged with that goal. Terrific.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Lawrence probably hasn't been as involved as he would have liked, Mark. He showed some nice footwork a couple of times, but nothing major. And he's stepped up with what could be a massive goal already. And I mean, I know that it's August, but it was one of those games. Rangers haven't been at it. Hibs had pegged them back. They needed someone to step up, and yes, it was mostly about Barisic, but Lawrence had to be there.
That's how you make a name for yourself at a big club, because he's came and the Rangers fans have took to him because his footwork and his delivery, his creativity. But you need goals as a midfielder at a club like Rangers, and to get them in big games like this, at times like this,
at the start of the season, Mark, who did I tell you on live on this
you
programme?
did actually
live
yeah.
Here, you heard it first from me before a ball was kicked to look out for this guy.
Who?
Lawrence.
To be fair, he did. I remember him saying Lawrence will be the main man for Rangers.
Here
comes your main man. No.
Speaking of his main men, it's one of his all-time favourites. Scott Arfield is coming on. Interesting. Did you hear the big news though? He's added, we said this, Hugh, he's added Barry Mackay to his favourites list.
Well, I said to you last night on the programme, for me, Barry Mackay is the best player in the country, out with those who play for Celtic and Rangers.
Oh, I can't disagree with that. Out with probably Jota's on fire just now. I totally agree with that. But Barry Mackay, I watched him last week, Hugh. Obviously, I was in the house most of the day. Hearts v Dundee United. His range of passing, movement, goal, ball control. He's really lifted his levels. Brilliant.
He's not playing today. Let's chat about him another time. Thursday night was just full of Barry Mackay.
I get Badger get brought up. I decided to just intervene with and to take the goal scorer off. Yeah, Lawrence.
Yeah,
He
Tom
got a
Lawrence.
knock a couple of minutes ago before his goal.
Perhaps the most interesting of the changes, though, with no disrespect to Gordon's favourite, is Alfredo Morelos. He's coming on to replace Cholak. Lawrence and Arfield will swap as well.
Well, now we test Mark Wilson's theory that enter Morelos, exit Ryan Porteous, who's on a yellow already.
It'll be interesting. Now, this is a test for Porteous because he has had criticism over the piece and probably deserved it. It's a big half an hour for him. His team needs him. He needs to keep the head. He's a threat in the opposition box. But Morelos loves playing against this guy. So, interesting 30 minutes ahead here.
He's got a great goal scoring record against Hibs. Alfredo Morelos. Gordon, does that play into your mind as a striker, albeit he's not fully fit, but he's scored 9 times in the league against Hibs.
As a striker, you always had teams you thought, this is teams I can score against. I like playing against these teams, whether it's at Easter Road, whether it's just the fact that Hibs, a striker will always have a team that will go back to and say, I always scored against him. Every time I played against him, I always scored against him. Morelos loves playing against Hibs. I think the most important thing is not for the goals, to get minutes into his legs. He needs fitness. There's no doubt he needs fitness. And is that offside? Yeah, Matundo's offside. But I think the most important thing this afternoon, it would icing on the cake if he could get a goal. But he's on there to get some fitness because there are a lot of important games coming up. Cholak had a very quiet afternoon, but he's been scoring goals. I still expect him to start in Eindhoven, twinned with Amsterdam. So I still expect him to start there, but I think it's a boost to get Morelos on the pitch.
I thought that was a handball there from
Well,
Milan.
here come Hibs into the box, but they can't get the ball across. Connor Goldson comes out to block it.
Well, they're not out of it by any manner of means. They've got almost half an hour left with the time minutes are added to the regulation 90, and they look like a team who are certainly not giving up the hunt.
And there's only one person still in the predictions.
What a pass that is. What a pass.
Chance for Hibs. It flashes across the face though, doesn't come to anything. Ewan's into the box. He tries to stand it up. It's still in somehow. Looked like that was going to go behind, but Chris Cadden keeps it alive. And I guess brilliant footwork. Is that Martin Boyle? Very tricky out there on that right side. A good attack, and that must be the most frustrating thing in the world when you cross it and it comes back off the player, hits you, and goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, good play from Hibs there. Cadden, he's a big threat. I like him down the right hand side. He puts you've got to ask questions of where your front men are. You put a ball into the box like that, you've got to have someone attacking that for me. I think that was a good opportunity for Hibs. Rangers just need to be careful. They've got the control of the game with the 2-1. Morelos is now on the pitch. They've made a couple of substitutions. Arfield's a big danger for them, but they just need to be careful at the other end. I think Rangers have been a bit slack at the back today.
Well, we're back to enjoying the game. We found in the first half that our topic of conversation was substitutions until the penalty controversy, but we're back to enjoying the game now. They're going at it hammer and tongs, the pair of them.
Yeah, good game. 65 gone. Hibs 1, Rangers 2. Rangers led through a James Tavernier penalty. Martin Boyle, of course, got Hibs level 6 minutes after the restart, and it's a bullet header from Tom Lawrence. The psychology of it, Gordon, how frustrating for Lee Johnson that the goal Hibs scored, being level, only lasted 7 minutes.
Look, from the Rangers' perspective, it's a great goal as they come forward here. But
yeah, here's Ryan Kent towards the edge of the box. Sorry, carry on.
But if you're looking
as clear a booking as you'll see, it might be worse than it is. John Lundstrom has been sent off for a cynical challenge on Martin Boyle. You just knew it was going to be on the edge, Hugh, because it was that level of cynical. When Boyle's just breaking away and Lundstrom dives in to bring him down. Sometimes you see them as yellows, and it's just that kind of taking one for the team that we mentioned earlier on. So we'll need to get another look
Well,
at
again, personal observation time. I did say that I felt that Willie Collum was in the mood for a red card, but I think his decision is absolutely justified. For me, that's a red card.
Mark?
Not for me. I think it's a cynical tackle. I think we've seen one.
Is it any
probably
different from
similar
Jake
in the
Doyle
first
Hayes?
half? Yeah, I don't think
It's higher, to be fair. It's a good bit higher.
but I don't think he catches him on the back of the calf or the Achilles or anything. He tries to get round the side. I think that's harsh. I think that's yellow card.
Yellow all day for me, Gordon. All day long. I totally understand, there could be an argument, but he goes in, it's not aggressive, he's just basically tripping him up. He's, as you say, taking one for a team. He should be booked for it. I thought red was a bit hard
I
on.
don't think it's any different for the Hibs. Doyle Hayes in the first
it's-
half. That's
and
cynical.
if you see Boyle, he's 2 feet, he trips himself.
Yeah.
So no, if he'd have went in with the studs to the back, I'm totally with Willie Collum.
Yeah, because you're looking for those excessive force, endangering an opponent.
I don't think that was
No,
the case.
I
Sir.
don't think it was either of
in
those.
real time, we went, because it looked bad.
I think that's because it was so cynical.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that John Lundstram is trying to foul Martin Boyle there.
But that is a poor decision for Willie Collum, and if it comes back to haunt Rangers, then the phone lines will be even hotter than they were going to be before.
Well, I said let's not talk about the ref. We've got a show.
Well, Hibs, let's see what they can do. So often it's the case though that the
10 men.
10 men, it's not as easy to play against as you think. We saw the camera went straight to Giovanni van Bronckhorst. He held up 4 fingers, then another 4, and then the 1. So it tells you what the plan is going to be formation wise. The only thing that doesn't help John Lundstram is the height of it. But again, that doesn't always. I don't know.
There's no force or anything.
I was going to say,
Gordon.
it doesn't even catch him with much force.
So you think that's what means it's a yellow? You don't think the excessive force is there? You don't think the endangering of an opponent is there?
Yeah, I don't think that would endanger an opponent at all. I don't think excessive force. I think that's taking one for a team. Yeah, you can argue that he was high up, and he was. There's no doubt in that. But it's not like the studs have went in there. I'm sorry. My opinion, I don't care if it's Rangers, Celtic, Hearts or Motherwell, whatever. I don't think that was a straight red. No.
Well, we've got a hung jury on everything, and that's what 5 until 6 o'clock is all about. So the other eyewitnesses can come on then, but it certainly hasn't lacked for incident this game. Talking points, controversy, a red card that will be argued over, a penalty that will be argued over, unless you're Aidan McGeady. So a good start to what will be a lively day.
Yeah, I mean, to think half an hour in we were saying not much happening in this game, and now look what we're looking at. And Hibs have a real opportunity here, but Rangers have the personnel to go and pick them off at the other side.
And if they do, then it's done, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it's even worse if they do. Guess who wins the predictor?
Oh, that'll be a sore one.
I'm in top form today. I'm really on it today.
Refreshed after a tough week.
Yeah. Dropped a few stones, so really.
God, he said a
I
stone.
know. I was wondering where you were
Ready
going
to
with
go,
that.
fat boy. We're ready to go.
Mikey says, what's the difference? What's the difference between that one and the booking for Doyle Hayes? Both are either a sending off or a booking. Willie Collum's got it wrong.
Well, if we're sending people off for that, then forget about it. You're not allowed to tackle nowadays. None of them are a sending off. None. Willie Collum has had a shocker this afternoon. A shocker.
Alfredo Morelos is on, by the way. It's not often he's on the pitch for so long and we don't really say much about him. There we go.
There we go. He never lets us down.
He's dangled a leg.
You know what? I actually like that one.
That was quite a comical trip on the Hibs player. He's just dangled his leg behind him, and in sort of school in like kind of playground fashion, wasn't it?
Yeah, you try to get away with it, just dangle it at the back. You wonder what's going through his head at that moment, that I'm going to get away with this and gain an advantage.
And I'll tell you what,
He was
Cabraca did not anticipate Scott Arfield missing that at the back post,
I thought that was a great chance,
and
a
it's
great
just
opportunity.
surprised him. It's floated over the head of Arfield. I think
he's a mile offside,
It should
you
have been
know?
offside anyway, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, it goes through to John McLaughlin.
Yes, and I'm looking at the assistant referee in the far side. Gordon didn't even raise his flag, so that was an opportunity. Arfield get caught there a little bit.
The wide areas, Hibs have worked it well in the second half, the wide areas. I think they're going to get success. They've got to use it now.
Do you someone said something about I wonder what's going on in his head there. Yeah, and it just reminded me. We said on Thursday night, Mark and I had been away playing in the Sir Alex Ferguson golf day. You were invited and you didn't come, which is very rude. But for the one reason and one reason only, I really wish you'd been there. I didn't tell you this detail. So it was in conjunction with Glasgow Caledonian Uni, okay, and they had some of their sports psychology students on the course.
Brilliant.
To come up and talk to you and analyse you. And I thought, can you imagine analysing him? Can you imagine trying to suss out what's going on in his head midway round the golf course?
Boy would have handed in his said, nah.
They've ended the course and taken up dentistry.
That's a PhD all on its own, that, let me tell you.
They've been texting each other, get to the 18th, he's coming up the 18th.
But I really wonder how it would have been for you, because it was quite interesting, you know. I don't think you would have received it well. I think you're a bit fussy, aren't you?
In which sense?
So we're on the tee, and it was a girl psychologist student we had, and she came over and tell me what you're thinking here. And I'm going, I feel a bit
my
intimidated.
answer would basically, you don't want to know what I'm thinking here, because I don't know if it's the
tell me what you're thinking, what are you visualising. It was all that stuff, and you had to talk her through the process, and then she followed you up to the green, all the way up the fairway, and then right when you're putting, right, what's going on here, right, she would want you to draw all these lines to the ball in the hole with your eyes, and I just thought you would be all over the place.
I'd have quite enjoyed that. Just that experience and sharing my thoughts with people that obviously are, that's their profession.
I would have felt for them trying to analyse you. It was interesting though. The boy did say to me, what you thinking? And I said,
did you just ask the
idea.
same question?
No, I had a guy. I says, I've no idea, mate.
It's the same question, isn't it?
I said, I'm thinking I'm running out of balls here. That's what I'm thinking, because I keep losing them every hole. It was a bad afternoon for me.
I'll tell you what, we'll maybe see if we can get one of them on the phone and have a wee conversation with you.
A 1-to-1
and see what's going on in there. Anyway, Hibs 1, Rangers 2, 73 minutes gone. Still not much more happening since the sending off of John Lundstrom. I think it's a 2-1. Hugh Keevins thinks red, but the other two not having it at all. Rangers going 4-4-1 now. Stephen Davis came on, did he?
Yeah.
Yes, he came on for Rabbi Matondo, who had a quiet game. Is that fair?
Hopeless.
Yeah, Harley.
I was trying to be kind.
He wasn't involved much. I would agree with you guys in the first half. I think he's been told to play that way, in to out, rather than hug the touchline. And it was a poor afternoon for him. But Rangers have dealt well with going down to 10 men. They've kind of steadied the ship a bit. Hibs not really moving the ball quick enough to cause him much trouble.
It'd be interesting, Mark, because I can't farm out when you've got a guy that at Ibrox and he plays in the right hand side and gives plenty of width and terrorises defenders. He goes to Easter Road and is told,
you say you can't farm out?
Let's just forget. Let's just move on. But why?
What are you talking about farming?
But to be fair, to be fair though, I get what you're saying about the winger, but if you don't do that, you're not totally blunting James Tavernier.
No,
is that not the predicament Rangers find themselves in?
I think if it's I think if it's a 4-4-2, Gordon, you've got somebody in front of you. But what was happening was the wing back was going to Tavernier, which left that big space. Hanlon was getting dragged out. I think that's tailor made for Matondo. I thought you should have
where does Tavernier go at that point though? That's what I mean, because the Rangers not get so much success from him being the one that gets down there.
Yeah, but Matondo's in front to go and give them the width and the pace and double up. You've seen Kent Barisic for a goal. Kent gets it, he's on the wing, he's stands up.
Fredo Morelos has been sent off. He's only just on, and Rangers are down to 9 men at Easter Road. As if this game could not get any more controversial. Alfredo Morelos has been shown a straight red card. He's only just on the pitch, he's barely touched the ball, and Willie Collum has sent him off. And Rangers, who lead 2-1, are down to 9 men.
Well, I need to see the replay because I think it was off shot, but I can only imagine it's for an arm into the face. Is it an elbow? I think that's what the players are signalling. Willie Collum,
okay,
very
we're going to get
again.
another look at it. He has one bash and a
red card.
Yeah,
because he tries twice, doesn't he? He goes the arm once. Morelos left arm left again.
Yeah, swings his left arm round.
You can't argue with that.
The first thing he did when he came onto the park, and we all laughed at it, he dangled the leg and get somebody from the Hib side and conceded a free kick.
Yeah,
I think that's why people don't fancy Alfredo Morelos. That's why the Rangers will not get any big transfer offer for him. He's too fond of this stuff, and Willie Collum, for the second time in my opinion, is absolutely correct to show the red card.
Gordon?
Yeah, I think it is a red card, Gordon. I think Morelos knows exactly what he's trying to achieve there. Why he gets caught up, and it happens to be Portes. They know their history.
That
there.
wasn't Portes.
Was
Don't
it
think,
not?
No, I think it was
Was it?
Cabraja.
Cabraja, sorry. But why he's getting caught up, throwing his he throws it
I
first.
think that's the problem, isn't it?
No, it is Cabraja.
See, the second one, Gordon, you're right, because the ball is already over him, so the ball's not in play, really, and he's then flung the second
one. It's the second one. It's the silly one. You know, if you go with the first, you're going to probably get away with that. But then he goes again. I think the most disappointing thing, he's on that park to get minutes. He doesn't look 100% fit. We all know that. Let's not be kidded here. He needs fitness. He needs games. He needs games like this, away from home, working hard. And all of a sudden, he's on the pitch. How long was he? 10, 15 minutes?
Less than that.
Less than that. And he's sent off. That's so disappointing for if you're involved with Rangers.
I mean, it's going to take a huge effort now for Rangers, you would think, to keep Hibs at bay. They're having to change again. What they're going now, just
4-4
and just take the 2-1. But
yeah, Leon King is coming on to replace Ryan Kent.
Well, it's the right decision. You know, you don't need to really commit bodies forward now.
So they'll go 3 at the back then, yeah? 3-4-1 maybe? Because if you're bringing on King, you've got Golson and Sands in there. As we see it again, he just that's even the Rangers fans will admit that's.
I don't think they will.
Oh God!
Are you new to this show?
No, but come on.
No, they won't.
I think you will find that the Rangers fans, some of them will probably think they're disappointed in that, because he's on there to get match fitness. That's terrible.
I don't think there's any problem with the first one. The arm is high in the first one,
it's
but
the
he's
second.
trying to hold Cabrera off. But it's the second one, when the ball's actually over their head, you can quite clearly see it's a lash out.
Yeah, what I think also that we just saw another view, and that looked worse even somehow than the before one. But
there's no point. I mean, the Rangers fans, of course, will defend Alfredo Morelos or any other player wearing Rangers shirt, no matter what they do. But there's no point in trying to look for some kind of mitigation or some excuse. He simply lashed out at the same player twice, and that's why I think his temperament makes him a liability, and that's why he'll be at Rangers until he retires.
I don't know about that. That would be a shock. I don't think anyone stays anywhere till they retire, whether they're get red cards or not.
They do if no one wants to buy you.
Well, if you're out of contract though.
Well, yeah.
They've certainly went with 3 centre backs. Sands, Golson and Kings went in there. You've got Barisic and Tavernier will drop in and make it 5 when Hibs get the ball, try and push forward. The only thing I would say about Kent, I totally understand it's always a strike, but somewhere along the line you need someone to take you up the pitch, get maybe a free kick or whatever. But they've decided to go with the 3 centre backs, hold out for 10-11 minutes. What they've got, it's a big task, because 11v9, you've got to say that Hibs must fancy getting back in this game, as Lee Johnson's decided to show everybody he's got to watch.
I was just about to say there, it's over at Hibs now. Hibs have, apart from that spell, the start of the second half where they got their goal, I mean, they've really been disappointing this season, I think. And this is the opportunity for them to.
Yeah, because I said when it went to 10, look, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. You go 4-4-1, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to overrun the other team. Once it goes to 9, you like to think there's a bit of space there that you can try and exploit.
Well, and it's got to be in the wide areas, you know, to move the ball as quick as possible into the wide areas, side to side, be patient, but you've got to have that quality in the final third. I know you've got Boylan, you've got Doige up there, and Newell's, you know, hit and miss just now. You've got quality there, but you need to make it count, especially at home.
This last 10 minutes should be like most coaches do in a training session. They'll have their defenders and their midfield in front, and they'll play against overloads and defend everything that comes in the box.
Oh, and it's a big save,
that's
John
a big save,
McLaughlin. We speak about him often and his suitability to play there. The Rangers fans are often phoning in with the goalkeeping debate. It was a deep cross, back post, and he had to get that right.
That's a good save. That's a really good save, because I think the header comes in low at him, his body's in there, and he sticks out his right leg, and he actually grasps hold of the ball as well.
Had a good save. The good save at 2-2 against Eindhoven midweek, and that's a big save from him there. So he justified his place.
Our esteemed colleague Fraser Wishart pointing out Morelos Lundstrom suspended for the Celtic game.
Is that right? Well, it's their own fault.
I'll check.
Well, these guys think Lundstrom was certainly hard done by.
Yes, I do. But we're just looking at a bit of play there from Hibs. Boyle is right through. I don't know. Does somebody take out?
Well,
Golson?
Doige is in Golson, and the ball's coming through, and Golson goes down. Now, seen it through the back. It looked like Golson went down very easily, and Boyle's right through 1-1. Willicombe gives a foul.
Yep.
I think Golson's lucky there. But Hibs have to put Rangers under relentless pressure now. There's no point in going backwards and side to side. I know I said they had to be patient moments ago, but patient in the final third, not around about the halfway line. They really need to put this back five under pressure.
You see what's going to happen here, Mark. Look where Hibs' centre half is there.
There we go. Oh!
It's a big chance, and it goes a begging for Hibs. It stays Hibs 1, Rangers 2. Rangers down to 9 men, 8 minutes to go.
Well, we've had this debate of late that Celtic and Rangers could go through the season not losing to anyone other than in the Glasgow Derby match, the Old Firm game. And that will certainly be the case.
Oh no, it's good though. It's kicking off on the group chat, because Fraser Wishart and David Friel are now going to argue about whether it is or whether it's just the next two, which would be Ross County and Queen of the South.
Well, anyway, to go back to the debate about whether Celtic and Rangers will lose to anyone other than Celtic and Rangers, they certainly won't lose to anyone if 9 men can still beat 11.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're hanging on though, isn't it? You know, you've got something to hang on to.
It's a training session now. There's no doubt. You've got your back five, you've got 3 in front, and you're saying to Hibs, come and break us down. We know you've got to play in the wide areas. We'll try and defend everything that comes into the box. Now remember, I think now the goalkeeper's got to play a massive part, because if Rangers do get the ball, he's got to be out there as an outfield player in the edges box, as a passer.
It's poor from Hibs. They get it wrong at the edge of the box, and then when the shot comes in, it's straight at John McLaughlin, who gathers.
Well, that's the big thing for Hibs. Decision making and the quality in the final third. I just said it there. I mean, they've got a 2v1, get into the Rangers box, they overhit the pass, it results in a shot, but for 25 yards, if you're McLaughlin, you're taking that all day long.
Well, Rangers have given up any pretence of going after a goal that would win the match.
They're just leaving the wide areas.
Oh, they have to, yeah.
And just deciding, look, we'll defend it.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
Well, do you know what? It's working so far.
Yeah,
it is working so far.
Yeah, because when they go into the wide areas, Rangers have got about 7-8 bodies in there, so it's very difficult to break them down.
I mean, you're looking at Bashiri here taking the ball, 30 yards out. Rangers would be happy with that, and flooding the box with defenders, and they're defending it fine just now. Just moments ago though, that one just from Bashiri's shot inside the box, crept inches wide. I thought Boyle could maybe have anticipated it better at the back post and turned it in.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, it's a bit of a strange schedule when it's a 12:30 kick-off, and I know we're going to end up looking at the end of this game and dissecting things, and maybe we will get late drama. Well, there's a little bit of a lull. Let's try and get some team news from some of the other games. Fir Park, Motherwell against Livingston, Stevie Hamill against Martindale and Bartley. David Friel, you got the teams for us there?
I do, Gordon. It's just one change for Motherwell, and Ricky Lamb comes back from suspension and he takes the place of Bevis Mugabe. So Motherwell line up: Liam Kelly in goals, Paul McGinn, Ricky Lammy, Sondre Solholm and Stephen O'Donnell at the back, Callum Slattery, Dean Cornelius, Sean Goss and Blair Spittle in midfield, with Kevin Van Veen and Connor Shields up front. As for Livy, they are unchanged from the team that beat Hibs last week. Scott Pittman makes his 310th a record appearance for them, and they'll be a 4-3-2-1 formation. It's Shamal George in goals, Nicky Devlin, Jack Fitzwater, Ayo Obalai and Christian Montano at the back, Stefan Omiyonga, Jason Holt, Sean Kelly in midfield with Andrew Shinnie and Scott Pittman behind Joel Newbilly.
There we go, looking forward to that one at Fir Park. We'll get into the detail of that fixture in the not too distant future. What about Dundee United St Mirren, Fraser Wishart?
Yeah, Australian goalkeeper Mark Berighitis paid the price for losing poor goals recently. He's dropped to the bench, one of 3 changes by United. Graham and Cujo also dropped to the bench, and Eriksson, Fletcher and Levitt come in. 4-2-3-1 for United. Carroll, Johan Eriksson, back 4 Liam Smith, Ryan Edwards, Charlie Mulgrew, Aziz Behich. 2 sitters, Dylan Levitt and Ian Harkes, with Glenn Middleton, Jimmy McGrath and Tony Watt behind Stephen Fletcher for St Mirren. 2 changes, Joe Shaughnessy, skipper, drops to the bench, and along with Greg Kilty, in come Declan Gallagher, who's suspended, and Mark O'Hara injured. They go 3-5-2. Tom Carson, back 3 Marcus Fraser, Declan Gallagher and Charles Dunn. 5 in the middle, Ryan Strain, Keanu Bacchus, Ethan Errahon, Mark O'Hara and Richard Tate, and up front Jonah Ayunga and Curtis Main. The referee is Matthew McDermott.
Oh, and speaking of McDermott, Park, St Johnstone against Aberdeen, Roger Hannah.
Yeah, 2 changes for the St Johnstone team that lost at Ibrox last weekend. Gordon Daniel Phillips will get a first start for the club into midfield for the injured Cammy McPherson, and there's a change at left wing back. James Brown in for Adam Montgomery on loan from Celtic and absent from the squad completely. Today go with Remy Matthews in goal. It's a back 3, Ryan McGowan, Alec Mitchell and Andy Considine, who will play against Aberdeen for the first time, having played for them 571 times. Cross the middle, Dre Wright, Daniel Phillips, Melker Hallberg, the skipper, and James Brown. And then Graham Carey and Jamie Murphy behind the front man, Theo Bair. On the bench, Parish, Kusharaye, Gordon, Crawford, Ballantyne, May, O'Halloran, Mahan and Davidson. Aberdeen 1 change from the side. I saw lose at home to Motherwell last week, but it does involve a rejig because right winger Matty Kennedy, who limped off injured 7 days ago, is out. Left back Hayden Coulson, who missed that game through injury, comes back in. So Aberdeen just move a few players about. It's Keller in goal. Back 4, Jaden Richardson, Anthony Stewart the skipper, Liam Scales and Hayden Coulson. The holding players in midfield, Ailbert Ramadani and Ross McCrory. And then Vicente Bejoan, Leighton Clarkson and Johnny Hayes behind top scorer Bojan Mijovski. On the bench it's Lewis, Morris, McKenzie, Duke, Watkins, Paul Vara, Duncan, Milne and Ramirez, and the referee at McDermott Park today is Craig Napier.
It's still Hibs 1, Rangers 2, 88 gone. Rangers down to 9 men. Hibs are pressing and pressing and pressing, but not really looking overly likely at the moment. Let's get teams from Ross County Kilmarnock with Dave Galloway.
2 changes for Ross County, Danda and Olegby in for Edwards and Samuel, so it's Laidlaw in goals for them. At the back, Johnson, Baldwin, Iacovitti and Purrington. The sitters, Callaghan and Kankola, with Olegby, Danda and Sims behind the main man up top. Hewula. Substitutes, Eastwoods, Owura, Samuel, Loturi, Watson, Harmon, Tilson, Ben Payton and White. As for Kilmarnock, 3 changes for them. The men coming in, Wright, McInroy and Polworth. Out go Murray, Donnelly and Dorset. So it's Walker in goals. At the back, Alabiuzu, Taylor, Mayo and Wright. Midfield, McKenzie, Power, McInroy and Polworth, with Lafferty and Shaw, the twin strike force. The subs, Woods, Alston, Armstrong, Sanders, Murray, Waters, Donnelly, Satona and Cameron, and the match referee David Munro.
That's your team news then ahead of the 3 o'clock games. Some brilliant fixtures to look forward to, and if they throw up as many talking points as this one at Easter Road, we're in for a real treat. But still, 89 gone, and it will be Rangers who come home with all 3 points, Hugh, despite being down to 9 men, unless Hibs can do something in the closing stages.
Oh, Willie Collins' next big decision is how long does he add on, because we're almost out of the 90 regulation minutes. Rangers have to be commended for the way they've defended their goal.
Oh, Martin
goalkeeper
Boyle
again
stings the palms of John McLaughlin. It gets fired away now to the edge of the box, throw in Hibs.
Well, McLaughlin has earned his corner today, without doubt. He had that terrific save at his near post from Hibs attack, and now that's a good save from Martin Boyle. It doesn't look to me as if Hibs have the guile to break down the 8 outfield players that they're now facing, but time now over the regulation 90 minutes.
Yeah, Rocky Bashiri, it's a poor header. The ball
5 minutes added on.
Ball kind of cut back about penalty spot mark. He neither gets to the power nor the direction on it.
No, I think he had a bit of time there as well. But I'm with you. You got to say that Hibs don't look like they've they've got it in them to get the equaliser. But you've got to commend Rangers and how they've defended when they've been down to 9 men. You know, they've played narrow, they've allowed crosses to come into the box, and then you rely heavily on your centre halves and goalkeeper to deal with it, and they've done that.
Well, the aerial threat of Ryan Porteous has gone off. Mamadou Bojang coming on for the closing stages, just another attacker just to try and...
Yeah, they're hoping something falls in the box, Gordon. They're getting a lot of control in the wide areas. You'd expect that. Rangers are saying, right, okay, take it out there, put it in the box, we'll defend it. We've got guys that'll go and put a head on it. We've got a goalkeeper that'll come and take it. You've got to have a bit of quality. They'll put another attacker on. They're just hoping something falls for them. But I'm with Martin Hugh. It needs to be a bit of quality. If you're going to ask the questions, put a bit of decent quality in there.
Yeah, I don't think the actual deliveries have been too bad, have they?
You think the defending's just been good?
I think Rangers seem to be quite well
comfortable.
Bodies in the right place, and you're right, Daz. Guys that are willing to go and head the ball, you know, and attack it, and a goalkeeper who stood up and made a few good saves. I wonder if that's a foul. No,
it's good defending.
But you know, he probably gave a penalty for a lesser incident earlier on.
Doesn't mean you just keep making mistakes.
No, you're right. You're right.
If it even was one in the first place, we'll argue about that later on, I'm sure. Whoever it was that's gone down is in no hurry to get up, and there's a miscue. Is it Mamadou who's just on, fired across the face? Someone took a fresher swipe at it, and it's lashed to and it's in the back of the net at Easter Road.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
It's a dramatic end to what's been a dramatic match here in the capital, and it is a wonder goal from Josh Campbell. It falls to the edge of the box, he lashes it left footed on the volley, and it goes high into the corner beyond John McLaughlin. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst looks downbeaten after that one. The Easter Road faithful going crazy as you would expect. 22 yards out, left footed volley. McLaughlin no chance. Hibs 2, Rangers 2. Hugh Keevins.
They love their time added on goals at Easter Road, don't they? Martin Boyle got the draw against Hearts. I'm loath to say that the game's finished yet. It's been such an afternoon and we still have 2 minutes to play. I am reluctant to say it's finished.
Do you know what I'm amazed at, Hugh? They score the goal. It's a brilliant goal, got to say. Great strike. They're playing 9 men. What's the first thing you do? Go and get the ball and get it back as quick as you can on the spot. You've still got 3-4 minutes. You're against 9 men. You've got to believe you can create another couple of chances and win the game.
It was actually Rangers who then went forward. Rangers almost looked to get the winner there, and now it's Hibs. It's opened up. There are 2 minutes left, as Gordon says, and now it is in the Rangers box, but there are no takers in green and white. Mark Wilson.
I mean, it's a great attack for Hibs, a great knockdown by Yuan, and all you're waiting on the guy who scored the goal, Campbell, to go on and put that into the net, and he's hanging out. Got to say about the goal, what a strike it was. I felt that it was going to take something extraordinary probably for Hibs to score, even though they had 2 men extra, and it was. Slices across it with his left foot, and McLaughlin had no chance. What a game of football.
The technique is on what we call the half volley, Mark.
What we call the half
everybody
volley.
calls it that.
Is that exclusive?
Me and you don't we half volley?
Just in case anybody's tuning in that doesn't know about football, it's what we call a half volley. The side of the foot, he's caught it brilliantly. Goalkeeper, no chance. But Rangers need to be careful here. They could be leaving with nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be a corner to Hibs. 94 minutes on the clock. It's Hibs 2, 9-man Rangers 2. Willie Collum gave a penalty to Rangers that Hibs fans were furious about. He's then sent off 2 Rangers players, which Rangers fans are furious about, and Hibs have equalised and might even snatch it at the end. Corner kick to Hibs. This will be the last of it. It's a minimum of 5 that gets added, of course, and it's a good delivery, you have to say, but already referees do that, don't they? They blow the whistle so early. They spot something and it just
before the corner was taken. I think Willie was desperate there to give that. But if you're Lee Johnson, then you're fuming if your striker has impeded the goalkeeper, because it's a chance, probably your last chance to get something.
Giovanni Van Bronckhorst stands, arms folded on the touchline. James Sands is just getting helped to his feet.
Yeah, exactly. These Rangers players have been asked to put in a shift that they did not expect. You know, the 8 outfield players and the goalkeeper, this was not the kind of shift that you anticipated before. Everything goes on the line against PSV Eindhoven on Wednesday night. So, you know, they didn't get away with it. Hibs did punish them in the end. but the physical toll has been quite something.
That's where you let your team down. That's what I'm saying about Morelos. As much as the Rangers fans love him, and I totally understand why, you have let your team down badly as a full-time whistle goes.
Yes, let's go to Easter Road. Andrew McLean.
Yeah, Hibs 2, Rangers 2, the full-time score at Easter Road, and it's a game that normally produces drama, and this one did not disappoint. A penalty, Rangers with 2 straight red cards, and an injury time equaliser from Hibs to save them a point right at the death. But it was a pretty quiet opening 45 minutes as well. It looked like the only talking point was going to be an early unforced double change by Lee Johnson after 27 minutes, but the game sparked into life. Just before the break, Ryan Porteous with a back pass. It was going safely back to David Marshall, but Rocky Bushiri pulled back Antonio Cholak in the middle of the box. He went down and Willie Collum pointed to the spot. Yellow card for Bushiri, and Rangers went into the break ahead as James Tavernier found the bottom corner from the spot. Hibs hit back 6 minutes after half time. Ailey Ewan's low cross to the front post was turned in by Martin Boyle for the equaliser. That was short lived though. A few minutes later there was a pinpoint cross from Borna Barisic, and Tom Lawrence arrived in the 6-yard box to head in for 2-1. The drama was far from over though. 66 minutes in, Hibs went on the break. John Lundstrom cynically brought down Martin Boyle. He was expecting a yellow card from Willie Collum, but the referee produced a red card. Rangers down to 10 men, and then Rangers down to 9 men not long after. Alfredo Morelos swinging his arm back, catching Marian Cabraja, and that was a straight red. A much easier decision for Willie Collum that time. Rangers down to 9 men, 15 minutes they had to hold out for, but they just couldn't do it. The ball fell to Josh Campbell at the edge of the box a couple of minutes into injury time, and he found the corner of the net. A brilliant strike to send the home fans absolutely crazy right at the end of this game. A fantastic match here at Easter Road. The full-time score, Hibs 2, Rangers 2.
Wow, what a game at Easter Road. Tweet us your thoughts. We'll open the phone lines later and get all your considerations, because there is a lot to get through. We've got the top team out and about round the grounds, and we'll find out what they made of those big incidents next.